The Mongols didn't win because they were bigger. They won because they were never hungry when their enemies were starving. Every army in history has been slowed down by food. The Mongols solved this problem so completely that it became a military advantage nobody has matched in 800 years. Here's what they ate, here's why it worked, and here's why your $300 freeze-dried bucket is an embarrassment. Chapter 1. The logistics problem nobody talks about. A Mongol warrior needed 4,000 calories a day. Sustained combat, extreme cold, and riding horses across steppes in temperatures swinging from -40 degrees Fahrenheit to 110 Fahrenheit. They covered 80 miles a day. Modern motorized infantry with trucks and supply lines averages less in contested terrain. The reason wasn't horses, it wasn't tactics, it was food science so ruthlessly efficient that a single soldier could carry 120 days of balanced nutrition in a 40-pound saddlebag. 5 foods, that's it, and every one of them was designed with one purpose: keep the warrior moving when everyone else stops. Chapter 2. Borts, the foundation. You already know this one if you've watched the last video. Lean meat pounded into fiber until the surface area exploded, then sun-dried in brutal Central Asian heat until bacteria couldn't survive in it. One cow produced enough boards to fill a single cow bladder. That 10-pound pouch was a month of protein. The pounding wasn't ritual, it was engineering. Increasing surface area meant faster, more complete moisture removal. No moisture means no bacterial growth. No bacterial growth means no spoilage, ever. The Mongols didn't have refrigeration because they didn't need it. They solved the problem at the molecular level with rocks and time. The rest of the 5 foods built on this foundation. Borts was the protein. Everything else handled the gaps. Chapter 3. Aaruul, the indestructible white stone. Here's the part that should make every prepper feel stupid. The Mongols had no fruits, no vegetables, no citrus, no vitamin C, and yet their soldiers didn't get scurvy, not because of some genetic advantage, because of dried fermented curd that looked like a pebble. Aaruul was fermented milk curds boiled until solid, then sun-dried on the roof of a gur until they reached the hardness of stone. Calcium, vitamin C, probiotics, shelf-stable for months without refrigeration. You could throw a bag of Aaruul against a wall and it wouldn't break. It was the reason Mongol armies crossing the Gobi Desert arrived healthier than European armies that never left their own continent. Modern preppers spend $40 on vitamin supplements and forget that 18th century nomads solved this problem with milk and a rooftop. Chapter 4. Sharsun, the 9-calorie fuel. Protein kills you if it's all you eat. This is called rabbit starvation, and it's a real thing. You can eat nothing but lean meat and literally die of malnutrition because your liver can't process the protein load without fat. The Mongols knew this not because they had nutritionists. They knew it because they watched people die from it. Sharsun was clarified animal fat, yellow butter, pure rendered lipid, 9 calories per gram, more than double the energy density of protein or carbohydrates. One small pouch of Sharsun turned a Borts ration from dangerous to sustainable. It prevented rabbit starvation during winter campaigns when temperatures dropped and caloric demands doubled. Fat gets a bad reputation in modern diet culture. The Mongols didn't care about diet culture. They cared about not dying in a snowstorm outside Moscow. Fat 1. Chapter 5. Guril, the toasted grain ration. Even the Mongols needed carbohydrates, not because carbs are good, because your brain runs on glucose, and a cognitively impaired warrior is a dead warrior. Guril was millet or barley parched and toasted until every trace of moisture was gone and mold had nothing to work with. It could be eaten dry as a concentrate or stirred into suthate sai, Mongolian milk tea, for a drinkable meal you could consume on horseback at full gallop without stopping. That last part matters. The Mongols didn't stop to eat, they ate while moving. Guril made this possible because it required no cooking, no fire, and no time. You mixed it with liquid and drank it. 800 years before protein shakes, the Mongols invented the concept and used it to conquer China. Chapter 6. The living ration, the emergency tap. When everything else ran out, the horse became the supply line. In extreme scenarios, warriors would nick a vein in their horse's neck and drink directly. 1 to 2 liters without degrading the animal's performance. Blood contains electrolytes, hydration, and immediate caloric value. It's not pretty, it was effective. The horse also provided milk from mares on campaign, fermented into Aaruul, a mildly alcoholic probiotic drink that handled gut health during months of dietary monotony. The Mongols extracted value from every resource, including the one they were riding. This wasn't desperation. This was the system working exactly as designed. Chapter 7. The Full Saddlebag. Put it all together, and here's what you get. A 40-pound saddlebag containing 120 days of balanced nutrition, protein from Borts, vitamin C and calcium from Aaruul, caloric density and fat-soluble nutrition from Sharsun, complex carbohydrates from Guril, emergency hydration and electrolytes from the horse itself, no supply lines, no kitchens, no refrigeration, no dependency on anyone. That's why they could ride from Beijing to Budapest. That's why they could operate in the Gobi Desert and the Russian winter in the same campaign season. That's why every army they faced, better equipped, fighting on home soil with supply lines already in place, lost. The Mongols had already solved the problem their enemies hadn't thought to solve yet. Chapter 8. What this costs you. Replicating the full saddlebag takes a dehydrator, basic kitchen staples, and 1 weekend. A 30-day supply of all 5 traditional foods costs approximately $85. The equivalent caloric and nutritional value in commercial freeze-dried prepper buckets runs north of $250. For 90 days, that gap becomes $600 versus $220. The difference isn't technology. Modern food dehydrators are more precise than Central Asian summer heat. You have a thermostat. You have consistency. You have access to every spice on Earth. The Mongols were working with rocks, sun, and animal fat. You have everything they had and a century of food science on top of it. The difference is knowledge and the willingness to use it. Most people will watch this, think that's interesting, and go back to hoping nothing bad ever happens. That's fine. That's a choice, but it's the same choice every sedentary civilization made right before a faster, leaner, better prepared force showed up and ended them. The Mongols didn't conquer soft people by being lucky. They conquered them by being ready when nobody else was. You don't need to build an empire. You need to build a saddlebag. 5 foods, 1 weekend, $85. That's the entire gap between you and the most logistically dominant army in recorded history. If this is the first video you've seen on this channel, the Borts video is linked right here. That's where the full step-by-step breakdown lives, including temperatures, drying times, storage method, and cost per pound analysis. Watch that next. If you've been here a while, you already know the drill. Drop a comment with which of these 5 foods you're making first. If you've already made Borts, tell me how it went. And if you think I missed something, a 6th food, a different preparation method, historical context I didn't cover, put it in the comments. I read them. Subscribe if you want more of this. Not survival fantasy, not apocalypse cosplay. Real history, real skills that real people use to do impossible things, broken down so you can actually use them.